Larry and Boog, and they would bring me on stage sometime. But what really got me with the eye of George was they pulled me into the Jimi Hendrix world because let's see, I was doing the Jimmy thing in Detroit, real heavy, and I mean I was really doing it. I mean I was really into it. This is back in the early '80s, like '82, '83, and I was doing it. I got a reputation and everything, and then when I moved to Cali, some kind of way they found me out there. And I only had one job. You know, I was kind of born kind of psychic, so I could read people and tell you what gonna happen, and it happened, and stuff like that. So I was hustling. I was playing with Bobby Womack. I was playing with Screamer J. Hawkins, and I was playing with Solomon Burke, off and on at the same time, right? And I was hustling, so I would go and 4 hours a day at this little job situation. And I said, look, now I'm a real musician. I play with stars. I got to go out of town. I can come and do this. What they do, they put you on the phone with somebody and you read them, and they listen in and they see if you can really read them. So I read this lady and really read her, and they gave me the job. So I come in and work 4 or 5 hours, 4 days a week to get my hustle on with my money, right? And anyway, I got a not a telegram, but I got an offer to go over to Holland to do this Jimi Hendrix festival. It had Buddy Miles, it had Noah Redding, it had the girl that Monica that had she had been lying about what happened with Jimmy, but she was there, and they put me into the Jimi Hendrix where I went over there and I made a big impression on them cats. Me and Buddy got cool, and then later on, me and my right after I had got with Death Row, me and one of my musician buddies, Phil, and we heard about Bumper Shoot. So I already knew Buddy Miles, so I wasn't even invited. We just took the train up to Seattle, and I played Bumper Shoot, and I wasn't even invited. But I knew Buddy Miles, and I knew a couple of other cats, and they put me on the show, right, for one song. And what happened, I ended up winning the contest and playing for 45 minutes with everybody. So George was there. Parliament was there. Eric Burden was there.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
the cats were there.
Stanley Jordan was there. I mean, some of the biggest key guys in the industry was on this, because Jimmy's family had got the $60 million. This one Jimmy's family got the money. His dad was there. The boy from Living Color was there.
Vernon Reed.
Yeah, Vernon was there.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even on the show. I won the whole contest, and George was super impressed with that. He said, he had been seeing me, but that's when he really started looking at, and that's when it really started, going on with him. Then he started having me in the studio all the time with him when he would come and cut out there. And that led to the band, to me being in the band. And I was playing with Chaka Khan and George at the same time for a minute. So, I was supposed to do Woodstock, and they forgot to send me my ticket. And they had the room and everything, and forgot to send me my ticket. So I went on back with Chaka. So I played with Chaka from '99. Cause like I said, for about 6 months, I was playing with both of them. Because it was just coinciding where I could do that, right? So I went back with Chaka, and after I left Chaka, George saw me doing the show at the Greek with the Mary Jane girls. He said, man, come on, go back with me. So I've been back with George ever since 2007.
Wow. Now, one of the things that I really been wanting to ask you about now, I don't want to forget, because all this is deep. My mind is somewhere else, and then you start hitting all this other stuff, and it's kind of like, damn, that's more interesting than I was getting ready to ask you. How did the association with Death Row Records started? Because, start with you, because I've always been a fan of that dark side of hip hop, and for me, like Fatback Band, what was it? You're My Candy Sweet was the first single, and then King Tim III.
Fatback from Detroit.
No, from I think they're from out in D.C. or whatever, somewhere back out that way. Bill Curtis and those guys.
Okay, I got you.
And so anyway, they came out with King Tim III, and so from then on, I was kind of always like into the other side of hip hop, not the mainstream thing. And to me, when Death Row came, I was kind of like, yeah, this is it for me. And you ended up playing with Death Row, man. Give me some stories about all of that stuff, about G Thing, Afro Puff, Daz, Corrupt. I mean, RBX. I was fans of all of them dudes,
we got to go there because I just went all around that because I know you wanted to focus on that. So I said, let me get everything else out the way so we can go back to Death Row. Well, Death Row was given to, Tony Green. Tony Green was the band leader for the Dramatics. He played the bass, great bass player out of Detroit. He had just came and saw me play with Bobby Womack out there at the Strand and said, Rick, I might have something for you. I said, okay, cool. So I break it up with one of my little girlfriends, and she hogging the phone. I said, girl, give me the phone. And one of them special phone calls, she said, man, we got something, man. Dr. Dre wants to do MTV. It was the MTV Awards of 93. Eddie Murphy was hosting. So he said, I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go meet Dre today. Dre heard me, said, I got to have him. Put me on the payroll immediately. I got $500 before I met him. I got $500 to buy my outfit for the thing, and I was dressed in this bad kind of Michael Jackson suede with the coat with the jeans with the things on the side, and I was young and trim and cool then, and see what the deal was. Everybody was trying to be like Funkadelic on this. Dre wanted a Funkadelic kind of band. He had a guy in a diaper, and he had me as a super guitar player, and he had all the girls was dressed weird. Everybody was dressed into their thing like George, right? Yeah. So at the end of the thing, they caught me doing this backflip with the guitar, and they caught it too. I mean, the MTV caught it, and that was the whole thing, because they knew I could play. But my showmanship thing shook them went crazy. I never had to worry about what was going on with the gang thing or the police thing and all that. I never had. I got respected. I got all my money all the time. I got my royalties all the time.
Always, to me, I thought that was the last.
It was crazy as hell. But if you were somebody else and they didn't respect you now, but I was blessed.
That
into
whole
the situation.
Death Row thing, man, musically, I thought it was the most innovative stuff.
It was, man.
And I was actually really, I mean, we started thinking about Warren G, RBX, Daz, Corrupt.
Yeah, one was with
he was over there at first, though,
Yeah,
before he ended up getting his other deal.
Yeah, but he got I forgot what's the name of the company we were with, but
didn't he go to Def Jam or something label?
He went to Def Jam, but it was another label that he had. But we played with Warren too, cause Warren hired us the same day. He had his first record out, and then I came in on Nothing But the G Thing, and then we did the Snoop album, and we were working with Dre. We was out there in Calabasas every day. I was on payroll. I was cool. I didn't have to worry about no bills. And I left the hotline, the psychic hotline situation. I didn't have to go there. I didn't have to hustle that no more. And it was a beautiful thing, man, because Dre was super producer, man. And Death Row was like a hip-hop Motown. And I know because I know about Motown, 'cause I'm from Detroit. Yeah. And it was round the clock almost, and they used musicians. We had horn players coming there. Kevin Lewis, Ramsey Lewis's son, was eventually, later on, he became the guy that would bring the musicians in and hire people and do stuff like that. I was already in by then, but at the first, I was doing all the Dre stuff, and we did Snoop's first album. That was really, a hell of a situation because that was that was a landmark album, period, the first Snoop album.
Matter of fact, too, hold that thought. Let's get to some entertainment from Death Row. Hey everybody, welcome back to Soul School with the one and only Rick Rouse, guitar extraordinaire. This cat has been all over the place, has played with everybody you can possibly think of. And we were sitting up talking about Death Row Records, one of my favorite record labels of all time. And as I was explaining to him before, off the record, I really thought that what they did over there, he coined it even better when he was saying it was basically a hip-hop Motown, which is what I've always thought that it was. And like I say, Lady of Rage, Jewel, RBX, Das, Corrupt. I mean, that Chronic thing. It's
Michelle A.
Yeah. I mean, just from top to bottom, that place was what they brought out in the music industry. It was the dominant record label at that time. Man, to me, I thought it was the last real black record label. Solar before that, and then when Death Row came. To me, that was like the last of the real information for me, man. And you get it in spots and stuff like that now, but what they did was incredible, to say the very least, man.
Yeah, it was an incredible time. It was really a good time for me. I didn't have to worry about money no more. And
I'm glad you're saying that, because people always give Suge, well, they used to give him a bad rap for not taking care of people, man. And and my thing is, you can't do nothing that's successful and not take care of people, man.
But see, I was in a blessed place, because once they found out my skills, once they found out that I could play bass and I could play keys and I could play all the guitar stuff. And see, the cool thing about it, I learned. See, well, this is what I learned now. I had heard Dre them before, and it was way out to me, but I dug it though before I got with Death Row. And the next 3 months or so, here I am in the middle of this world. I was playing the old funk, like with George and stuff. And I found out what they want was a new kind of funk. So I would listen to all the gangster movies, like Godfather, like The Godfather and Goodfellas, and listen to the lines. Them, kind of, Italy sounding lines. And that's how I came up with all the special lines.
You know what, man? That's funny you mentioned
That's how I invented those lines.
I've always thought that the Death Row stuff had that real sinister vibe.
That's how.
Man,
I was playing the old funk, from George and Sly, and they didn't want that. But I put my ear on it, and I said, "This is what they want."
Man.
And Dre said, "Nah, you got it."
That Murder Was the Case that they gave me, and all of that stuff. Ooh, that stuff is crazy.
That's how I got the lines.
Yeah.
I heard what they wanted, the gangster line. They wanted the gangster funk. I mean, and I got it in a week. It wasn't like I had to.
Yeah.
I got it, and that's how I created all those lines with Snoop and Warren G and Tupac. Because I was there for like a couple of years before Pac came. Because we were doing, like I said, the G-Funk thing with Warren G and all the stuff that Dre was doing.
Man, the only person that was close to what y'all were doing over there was Willie D. Had this album from the Ghetto Boys, a solo album called Play With Your Mom, and he had this jam Smoke 'Em and just different stuff that he was doing. But that was the only thing that was remotely close to like what was going on with y'all on a whole nother planet.
Yeah, we did we did into our own thing, and I got it, and I started. I was very creative in it, and luckily I was able to. What Pac loved about me, what made me be his main musician, was that I could cut right away. I could cut the bass line in 1 or 2 takes, usually one, and same thing with the guitar. And if when no keyboard player, I would play the keys, and because Johnny J was there first. That was his producer, and some situation happened between him and Suge, so he bounced, and a lot of times it was just me, so I had to create. That's how we came into me and my girlfriend, because Pac needed a track, and I said, I got some Pac, but I'm gonna need my because I know about royalties. I'm old school. I do, but I said I'm gonna need. But I said, let me see what you got. So I started playing the bass line to a song that I had wrote called Ricardo. I had a couple of record deals, and I had cut the song before. Anyway, I started playing the bass line. I said, that's it. And I put the guitar line on, and he was in there. The Pac was fast. He would just write his stuff right then.